Hey guys, it's Paige Vanderveer with Simply Heaven Design. Happy Halloween, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, I want to talk to you about security on your social media and on your websites. I had some really crazy events happen recently with a few of my clients, and out of that, I really want to help you. I want to equip you, and I really want to empower you to be able to secure your websites and your social media. So if you're new to any of our live streams, I'd love to encourage you to say hello in our comments, to leave your name and the project maybe that you're working on. Feel free to include your web address or what you're doing currently at the moment. So I have a couple of scary stories to share with you, and a few of them are not the fun Halloween dress up in costume kind. They're the this is a real nightmare situation, and I would love to prevent you from engaging in the same situation. So about 2 weeks ago, one of my clients, I woke up in the middle of the night, and in between the hours of about 3 and 11 a.m., I had about 30 emails saying that someone with a foreign IP address was trying to log in as an admin into my website. They were trying to access the website for my client, and that was kind of shocking to me to get that information. In between the hours of about 8 and 11, when I actually sat down at my desk, I was getting an email once every minute, once every 30 seconds. The different foreign IP addresses were trying to log in as an admin and hack my client's website. And it's a really good thing that I knew what to do so that I could shut down. Okay, I think I had just a moment where the wireless broadcast for some odd reason was weak, but we're back online. Hi, if you're just joining us, feel free to leave your name, what project you're working on, if your website, if you'd like to. I'm going to go on and share another couple of stories that might encourage you about why security is important for your website and your social media. So some of you might be paying attention to the election. JebBush.com is a domain I'd love to talk about because Jeb Bush was actually running and he failed to renew his .com to pay for another year of having his domain address. And in so doing, one of his competitors logged on, bought his domain, and then redirected JebBush.com to his web content. And that's kind of crazy, but it's great because it tells you that your .com and your web content can actually be hijacked, and it's so much more than just information or pictures on a website. It's actually valuable real estate, just like your house. You wouldn't want anybody breaking into your house and stealing your stuff. So because of a simple failure in organization and administration, he possibly forfeited his role in running for the President of the United States. The third is that there's another recent story of someone who their email actually got hacked, and because their email got hacked, that person was then able to log into their registrar and transfer their domain away from them and repoint that content towards other things. So I think in those things I'd love to share, this is why it's important. It's because people can actually take your website, take your .com, and then redirect it to other links. So let's just pretend you're a nonprofit or you're a ministry and someone takes your .com or hacks into your website and steals your .com, hacks into your registrar and steals your .com. They could transfer it to illicit visual content that you wouldn't want your name affiliated with. Or if you're a business and they hacked into your website somehow, they could actually refunnel where money went. So if you're selling something on your website and someone was able to hack in, then they would actually be able to, even while transactions were continuing to roll on your website, the money could be, instead of being directed into your account, could be redirected into theirs. So it's really, really important, and I want to equip you today and empower you with a few things that will help you from the front end to never have to deal with this headache to begin with. So it might the question might be rising in your mind, what can I do on the proactive end and what's it worth to you? And I'd love to suggest that it is worth your time and a little bit of financial investment in order to prevent having to deal with this headache in the first place. So what can you do on the proactive end? Let's say you haven't developed a website yet, or you have done one but you haven't been hacked yet. What can you do? So on the proactive end with your registrar, now your registrar is where you buy your .com or your domain. You could do a few things. Number one, and most importantly, I want you to write down on a piece of paper the date, or write down a time tomorrow, this week, that you're going to check in and see when your renewal date is, and make sure that you buy an additional year. With most domains, it might be like $12 or less. Just make sure that you get that in a recurring calendar on your phone, on your computer, something, so that 3 months beforehand, something like that, you have a daily reminder to get that done. It's really simple, should take less than 5 minutes, but by simply keeping your domain and your .com purchased and up to date, you'll avoid some of these headaches to begin with. The second thing you can do is buy from a reputable domain, or a registrar like Bluehost. GoDaddy is awesome. If you're paying less for your domain, what that means is they actually don't have great customer support. And in a situation where you've been hacked, you really don't want that. You want a really reputable registrar to buy your .com from. Hi, Marty. Good to see you, by the way. I just saw that you commented. So those are a few things that you can do from the outset with your registrar. Purchase from a reputable registrar. The more expensive, like, you literally do pay for what you get, and a more reputable registrar is going to help you in the event that you get hacked. The second thing is set a reminder in your calendar, on your phone, in your computer, to renew that on a regular basis. I want you to change your passwords on a regular basis. These should be strong passwords, not all lowercase letters. They should be a mixture with special characters. And I believe there's passwordgenerator.net that will help you, that will actually help you generate stronger passwords. Write that down on a piece of paper. The best of the best, the people that are most secure with their websites, actually keep their passwords on a written piece of paper. It's not anywhere where you can access it digitally. But if you have to save it digitally, then you can save it in a password protected document that only you know the password to. So that's another thing that you can do. I also really want to encourage you to watch your emails. So set up your email accounts so that you get alerts when activity happens with your registrar or your website. Go into those different systems and make sure that it sends you an email. Make sure it doesn't go to your junk folder, because one of the ways that if you're not paying attention to your email, somebody hacks into your email and you get an email saying that your domain has transferred your .com somewhere else and you didn't authorize it, you've just lost your website. So part of it is simply being vigilant. And then also save backups of your website. If you haven't developed that yet, it's going to be really easy for you. If you have developed that with WordPress, you can literally save it in a file. With some of the easy content management systems, you're just going to have to copy and paste what you have, but save it all in one place so that in the event that you get hacked and you go down, you can actually relaunch again very quickly. So here are two things you can do. I want to address what you can do as well with a website, and then I want to talk to you about what can you do to secure your social media so that you don't get hacked or lose your access to your own material. One of them is if you're hiring anyone to work on your websites or social media, get a contract. That way it's a legal document that's binding you and another party together, and it just makes your life a little bit easier if anything does happen. You have a contract that says who's doing what and whose is what responsibility. It's a little bit of leverage for you. The second thing is give access. Don't give your admin password, your admin name and your password. Create a user within your platform. So whether that's WordPress or if you're brand new, even some of the easy content management systems like Wix and Weebly, even though they're just starting out, they still have the ability for you to assign a user and not give them your username and password where you've lost all access. If you keep your own user, admin, and password, then they shouldn't be able to lock you out of your own material or of your own content. So that's something else you can do. With my clients specifically, the one that was trying to be hacked by a foreign country, there are actually a couple tools with WordPress that you can purchase that both of them together are less than $250. And I was actually able to just isolate the country. I purchased the tools and then I isolated the country that the IP addresses were in, and literally my email address or my email box went from bing, 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 somebody's trying to hack you, somebody's trying to hack you, to complete silence. It was awesome. It was so, so good. So I really want to encourage you to look into that. One of those tools is WordFence. It's really good. And the other one is not at the top of my mind at the moment, but you're actually able to move your login page. So change your username from admin and move your login page, and that actually reduces your hack attempts by a ton. So that's what you can do proactively on the website side of things. In terms of social media, especially Facebook, they have something called Business Manager. You can actually claim the page, your own page, your public page, as your own, and then assign a user with specific abilities or access into that page. So that actually prevents people from locking you out of your own content. And even if a dispute arose, you'd be able to take that to Facebook Help and say, hey, this is my page, this is what's happened. You actually have the ability to get your page back. So those are some things that you can do. Also with your registrar, they have something called TwoStep Authentication. So whether that's GoDaddy or Bluehost or another one of those registrars where you purchased your .com, you can actually ask them that if somebody is trying to do a particular type of activity on your account, like transfer your username or your domain, they can actually require to contact you both in terms of your phone and your email. So you get alerts different ways, and they have to actually get a code from your phone. So those are a couple things that you can do both with websites and with social media. So far, do any of you have any questions about what I've shared on the proactive end of what can you do to try and make your websites more secure? If you missed a couple of the stories that we started with, I mentioned that actually Jeb Bush, he had his .com, he failed to renew his domain name with his registrar on time. He didn't do that simple step of having a recurring alert tell him that he has to go purchase another year. And because of that, one of his competitors actually bought that domain name and was able to redirect it to their own web content, which was one of the reasons maybe why he ducked out of the presidential race so soon. So sad, but really great example. Okay, well, I'll move on to retroactively. Let's say you have been hacked. Now, what do you do? So one of the things that you can do is, let's say somebody stole your domain name, they were able to transfer it away from you, or they purchased it after you had let the time lapse. You can actually go to whois.com and look up the information on the person who purchased your website. Now, they might have bought identity protection, which is an extra $10 when you buy your .com, but you can still file a claim to abuse at your registrar. So GoDaddy, they have an email address that's literally abuse@godaddy.com. You can actually get them to help arbitrate. This is part of the reason why you paid more for the domain to begin with. The third thing is you can actually keep records of communication. So if people steal your website or steal your domain, what they might be trying to do is get you to pay them to give it back. Now, don't give anyone any money. Definitely do not front money. Don't give them the full amount. Don't give them a partial amount. Just simply keep records of the communication, keep the conversation going, and submit that to your registrar, and they should be able to help you Another thing you can do is you can hire a pro to fix the problem. So at our agency, we actually do have a package that you can purchase with certain circumstances within your website. If they've hacked in a particular way, there are certain things that we can do to actually reset that, create new walls that they can't get back into again. So yeah, consult with a professional if somebody's hacked into your website. And also, this is where keeping a backup and being well organized on the front end will help you relaunch again very quickly. So, as in terms of social media, what do you do if somebody's hacked into your account? Often, some of my clients have gone to foreign countries and they've notified people saying, "Oh, I'm leaving the country," and literally within a day of them leaving the country is when they're hacked. And when people are starting to use their social media to ask people for donations, you can make a public post on your page if you still have access to it, saying, "Hey, we never ask anybody for money." Another thing you can do is copy the URL. So go to the top of your web browser, copy the URL of the person who's impersonating you. Usually that's the issue, is that somebody's impersonated you, or you can alert Facebook if somebody simply just hacked into your account and didn't create a duplicate. But for both, you can actually alert Facebook. There's a section in the help section where you can actually alert them, contact them, and they will help restore your connection to your own page. So that's pretty much it. I just really wanted to empower you and encourage you so that you don't have to deal with real life nightmares like I'm seeing with some of the other things that are happening around the world. And let me know if you have any specific questions. I'd love to hear. Is there anything that I've shared just now that you wanted to know a little bit further about, or how do you feel about that? Let me know in the comments what you think about what we've shared today, and if you have a situation that you'd love to ask about. In the meantime, I'm going to keep talking, but there's a 2-minute delay between the time that I actually say something and the time that you receive it, and then there's a delay between when you might type a comment or a question and when I see that and can respond to it. So let's allow for just a second to do that. By the way, Marty, you waved at the screen. I think that's awesome. Actually, I think Mark Zuckerberg is working on virtual reality. His goal is to make Facebook more real than reality. So he's working on the virtual reality displays where you have the special vision goggles and your phone is placed in front of your eyes, and it's meant to be interactive. So I'm sure that soon we'll have a live ability to actually interact instead of just have one person talk and then read comments and then respond to them. So if you're looking for a web designer, if you need someone to help you establish your web presence, and that's certainly something that we do for our clients, everything from business all the way to nonprofit. We have clients locally. We also have clients overseas. We're working on an international basis, and we have some things available for little mom and pop shops all the way through big companies. One of the things that we do for the smaller clients is actually consulting. So we can actually tell you what belongs where. We can answer specific questions about what type of registrar should you go with. If you're looking at, this is your very first website, which web provider should you go with? And we also actually construct websites for larger companies and ministries. Yeah, we're actually involved in a really big project right now. I'm looking forward to unveiling that soon. So Marty said, I do have a question, but it's not exactly about hacking. What do you know, anything of viruses that lock you out of your website? Man, that's a really good question. I actually have not heard of any viruses per se that will lock you out of your website. Typically, what I've understood about viruses is that it affects your software on your local hard drive. So if you had a virus that attacked your local hard drive, and I would suggest moving to a different computer, trying a different device to log in that particular respect. But at the moment, I have not actually dealt with it being locked out by a virus out of my own website. It's usually been either robots conducting brute force attacks, or I haven't had to deal with real senior level hackers hacking into any of our stuff, because we've actually gone through a lot of protective measures. So if you have a virus and it's stopping your individual computer from accessing a website, try going to a different device. I would also suggest regularly having scans done of your computer so that you don't get into that situation. So that's probably what I have to suggest about that. Does anybody else have any other questions before we move on? And I'll share another story of a friend recently. Oh wait, it says maybe it's not a virus. I've just had a problem with the program website I use for work. Okay, I think I'd probably need more specific information about that particular website. Oh, you're totally welcome. You're totally welcome. Marty, why don't you and I have an individual private chat about this specific problem that you're facing? But in any regard, hey, I want to bless you. I am just speaking grace and protection over every single project that you touch and that you face. And do let us know if you have any specific questions. We can either briefly answer the question, or if it's a longer question, set up a consulting session, which happens for an hourly fee. There's no bar on what you can ask, or if you're a larger group looking for specific websites that convert and they're safe and they're secure and they're working for your needs, let us know. We would love to talk to you. You can contact us at simplyheavendesign.com. We're also on Instagram and Twitter at simplyheaventx, and you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/simplyheavendesign. You guys are awesome. I love you. Have an amazing Halloween that has nothing to do with hacked websites. Bye, guys.